Welcome back to Saxon Math. This is lesson 117, finding a whole when a fraction is known. Let's consider the following fractional parts problem. 2/5 of the students in the class are boys. If there are 10 boys in the class, how many students are in the class? A diagram can help us understand and solve this problem. We have drawn a rectangle to represent the whole class. So this represents the entire class. We split that into 5 equal parts because it says 2/5. So 5 equal parts is what the whole class needs to be divided into. 2 of the parts are boys, so that means the remaining parts would be 3 of them representing girls. These 2 parts are supposed to add up to 10 total, so 10 divided by 2 would be 5. So that means for each of these parts, we would have 5 students. And now we can see how many girls there are in the class. There would be 15 girls. And we also know how many total students would be in the class. There would be 25 students in the whole. Okay, let's look at an example. So if you have 3/8, let me make sure I've got this cleared from previous sessions. 3/8 of the townspeople voted. If 120 of the townspeople voted, how many people lived in the town? So we're told that 3/8 of the town voted. So we divide the whole into 8 equal parts and mark off 3 of those parts. So this would be 120 total people who voted. And if you take 120 divided by 3, that would get us the 40 that you can see inside of each of those parts. Those are all considered equal parts. So now you can tell how many people live in the town because you simply take 40 times 8. So 40, not that crazy number, 40, and here we go, we're going crazy again, 40 times 8. So we just simply multiply that, be 320. Okay. Example 2, 6 is 2/3 of what number? So this is, I see there's going to be 3 equal parts. Let me just write them here. 1, 2, 3. And 6 is 2/3. So this equals 6. This is also equal 2/3. 6 is equal to 2/3. This would be considered 1/3, this piece right here. This is 2/3 if I'm looking at it like this. This portion here would end up being 3. This would be 3 because they have to add up to 6. So that means this one is 3. And that means our total number is going to be 9. So 9, if we took 2/3 times 9, we'd end up with this, 18/3, which would be 6. So you can see 6 is 2/3 of 9. Let's make sure we don't have anything there. So that's it. And then example, there's no more examples. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it then. So if we have 8 is 1/5 of what number? So again, I'm going to start with a diagram here. I'm going to use a rectangle. And I see that it has to have 5 boxes in it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. If I split this one up, then I got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it says 1/5. And it says 1/5, so that's just this portion right here, has to be 8. This is 1/5, because this would be this remaining part here that we're not aware of, the amounts, would be 4/5 of it, which adds up to the total of 5/5. Now, because this one is 8, we know this one has to be 8, this one has to be 8, this is also 8, and that is 8. So you could just add those together if you wanted to, or you could do it the easy way and just say 8 times 5 equals 40. So this total amount would be 40 for letter A. 8 is 1/5 of 40. We could double check our answer by taking 40 times 1/5, which is the same as 40 divided by 5, And if it ends up being 8, then you got the correct answer. And we did. All right, let's do letter B. 8 is 2/5 of what number? So again, we need a box or a rectangle. It should be the easiest. And we need 5 equal parts. And it says 8 is 2/5. So this time, this is 2/5. And that also equals, let me just write it over here, that's 8. So that's 8 divided into 2 parts. So that makes this piece 4 and this piece 4. It also makes this piece 4 and this piece 4 and this piece 4. So now we know that 8 is 2/5 of, if we take 4 times, looks like 5. So the answer would be 20 for that one. And we can double check that. 20 times 2/5 would be this. We'd end up with 40. We would end up with 40 divided by 5. And 40 divided by 5, again, would be 8 for some reason. So I'm not sure if that worked out exactly the way I'd want it. To check it, let me see. 20. Oh yeah, 8 is 2/5 of what number? 20 is the answer. But how can we do that? So 8 is 2/5 of what number? 2/5 of 20. I guess it is 8. It still works out that way because this one was 1/5. That's what's confusing me, I guess. This was 1/5 over here. This is 2/5. 1/5 in this case, we're looking at it in a different light. So that was 1/5, had to be 8. Over here, 2/5 had to be 8 in order for that to work because it's a smaller number. It's actually half the amount. And you can see this is half of that. So it works out in that thought process. All right, letter C. 9 is 3/4 of what number? So again, I need to split it into rectangles, probably would be the easiest to work with. And I have 4 equal parts. And it says 3/4. So that's these 3 here. That's 3/4. And that's supposed to be 9. So that means these parts are all 3. Each of those are 3 because 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 3, and this one would be 3 as well. So all I need to do is add those up or take 3 times 4, which I know is to be 12. Okay, so that would be my final answer on that one. 9 is 3/4 of 12. Letter D, 60 is 3/8 of what number? So in this case, I would have to take, for part D, I want to have a rectangle that has 8 boxes in it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this 60 is 3/8. So I'd look at 3 of these. So 1, 2, 3 divided by 60. That's supposed to be 60 of them. So that means this has to be 20. This has to be 20. And this has to be 20 because that was 3/8, remember. And we chose 8 boxes, 8 equal boxes, because it has the denominator of 8 there. That means that each of these has to have 20 in it as well. And I can take 20 times 8 to get 160. And that would be my final answer for what 60 is 3/8 of. And then letter E, 3/5 of the students in the class were girls. If there were 18 girls in the class, how many students were in the class altogether? So this is very similar to the first example given in this lesson. So I need to split it into 5 equal parts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see that 3/5, so this is 3/5, and it has to be 18 girls. That's girls. And that's 18 divided by 1, 2, 3 of those parts. So the numerator, 3 of those parts, that would make that 6 here. This would be 6 here and 6 here. And then this continues straight on down. So then I would just recognize that there has to be 30 total students in the class. And it doesn't ask me how many boys there are. It's just going to be 30 students. If it did ask how many boys, I could find that answer quite easily just by taking well, just recognizing that these two right here would end up being 2/5, which equals 12 total boys. All right, excellent work today, guys, and make sure you do written practice 1 through 30 again. We're on lesson 117, only 3 more to go. Have a great night.